Hi Mystics, how's everyone doing this morning? So today, it's hot again. I woke up this morning and it was like 70 degrees. I was so disappointed. Ugh. Unicorn mug, y'all. I told you, I have a million of these. I was so made for coffee mugs. Anyway, so today, despite the warm weather, I'm going to talk about or show you how to do a banishing spell. So I will give you a little herbal blend to anoint your candle with and all that, and we'll just kind of put it all together and I'll show you how it works. So I like banishing spells for so many reasons. You can banish unwanted people. You can banish bad habits. You can banish emotions. I'm not a big fan of that. I feel like that's I hate to say this because it's going to sound horrible, but it's kind of cheating, and not only that, you kind of need those sometimes. You know, I mean, yes, people are like, oh, well, I don't need to doubt myself. You're right. That can be counterproductive, but some doubt is okay. You know, doubt leads to questions, and questions lead to figuring things out, you know, on your own and exploring new avenues and growth. So I'm not a big fan of banishing emotions necessarily, unless, let's say you had a big argument in your house. Let's say it wasn't just you and your significant other, but like everybody that was there, your kids, everybody was just arguing. You can use this to banish that, you know, negative vibration that's left over afterwards. Honestly, to me, it's just easier to smudge. So I just really wouldn't use this particular spell for banishing like emotions necessarily, but bad habits for sure, people for sure. Also, blockages, you can banish, you know, get rid of any kind of blocks that are in your way. If you have issues with like getting money, you can banish any kind of roadblocks or any kind of challenges that you're facing to get more money. Again, I would be really, I mean, it's totally up to y'all. Y'all can do what you want. For me, though, I would be careful about that too, because some things you kind of need to go through, you know, to learn. So, but whenever you need fast cash and you need it now, this is a great, like, kind of opening the road, removing obstacles, kind of working that you can do before you cast for money. So you can do that. Honestly, for me, the main reasons I use this is to banish people out of my life, and banish like bad habits. So that's what I use it for. You can use it for whatever you feel the need to banish. Okay, so let's get started. I have already got some basil, and this is basil from my garden that I dried. I think it's from last year actually, because I have a whole new bunch this year, but I still had a lot from last year. Anyway, I dried it and ground it myself. So whenever I have the herbs that I grew myself, I much prefer to use them. I just feel like they're a lot more powerful. They have my own energies sort of intermingled with them. So more likely or a lot more eager to do what I want, you know, because they you know, I've worked with this plant since it was a little baby seed. So basil is really good for banishing. And if you're wondering how do you know that basil is good for banishing? Okay, you do have reference books, and some I think do actually say that basil is good for banishing. For me personally, basil is its physical properties, like mundane properties, are good for banishing. You can plant basil to keep, I mean, most people plant basil to keep bugs, aphids, and things like that out of their garden. I always plant basil with my tomatoes because it keeps away bugs from my tomato plants. Also, in the summer, if I'm out working in my garden and the mosquitoes are out or whatever, which around here they're out almost all year long, I will grab some fresh basil leaves and kind of crush them and rub them on my skin, and bugs stay away from me. It banishes the bugs. So, to me, when working with this herb, when communing with this herb, I feel that connection to banishment. So, and of course, like I said, reference books are great. I use reference books, but I also form my own connection. Okay, so we have some basil. And the next ingredient, and y'all are going to see I use just anything I have. I'll set this right here. Black pepper. Black pepper is wonderful. And y'all, I'm not going to use a whole bunch because I don't want to be sneezing this whole video. So, black pepper is really good for banishing. I am also going to add a little patchouli. Yes, patchouli is great for, you know, the sensual and sexual, but it is also really good for banishing. And so I'm just going to just put a little pinch of that in here. Not a whole bunch. Now, if I was making this, like, I'm just making this to show y'all. And if I was making this for myself to actually start a banishing spell, I would use my bigger mortar and pestle. This is just perfect to me for, well, it's pretty, for one thing. It's great for small, you know, quick mixtures. And it's really good to show y'all, like you can see the patchouli right there. It's camera friendly. But whenever I'm not in front of camera, I use it for, like I said, just really quick stuff. Small little mixtures. I have a bigger mortar and pestle for my bigger stuff, like if I want to make a large batch. Vervain. Vervain is excellent for banishment, y'all. So I'm going to drop some of that. Now, Vervain is kind of a pain in the ass, and honestly, I mean, I love it, don't get me wrong, but you see, it's like, you know, it sticks. So I usually have to break the sticks apart a little bit. So there we go, Vervain. You know, you can use salt. You can add salt to this if you wanted. If you don't have Vervain, you can use cedar. If you don't have Vervain, you can just not put Vervain in it. You don't have to have all these ingredients exactly. You know, change it up to the way you like. But most Vervain, usually I put it in my coffee bean grinder because I have a coffee bean grinder specifically for herbs. I don't ever put coffee in it, and I have one for coffee. But so I'll put the Vervain in my coffee bean grinder, sort of grind it down a little bit more so than I can by hand, you know. So after I get all my ingredients in there, so what we have, just to go over it again real quick, we have basil, we have black pepper. Black pepper is excellent for banishing. Patchouli, good in banishing, and Vervain. So, and then I grind it counterclockwise. And yes, there's a fancy Gaelic word for that. No, I don't deal in that. If I knew the language, then I probably would. But I know a lot of Wiccans would say, well, that's whatever that word. I don't even remember, y'all, which one it is. But anyway, it's counterclockwise. So I will grind that up really good. And this is what I'm going to use on my candle. Okay, now you don't have to use it on a candle. You can use it if you're trying to, especially if you're trying to banish like a bad habit. If your bad habit is that you spend too much money, or you don't have good money managing skills, you can put it in a mojo bag and hang it wherever you do your finances, and maybe keep a little bit in a small mojo bag in your car. You know, so whenever you're out shopping, you know, you kind of remember, okay, this is to banish my bad habits of overspending. Okay, if you're banishing a person, you can put it in a witched bottle and toss it onto their property, or in a mojo bag. Personally, whenever I'm banishing a person, mainly because it's sometimes it can be kind of challenging to put this like in their yard, I will use a candle. I personally like to use candles for banishing anyway. So I would use a black candle, and y'all, this thing's crooked. It's a little bent. But anyway, my kind of crooked black candle. Chime candles are perfect, y'all. They work fast. So if I'm using a candle, I would etch into the candle. If it was a person, I would put their name all over the candle. If it's a habit or for some other purpose, I would etch that purpose into the candle. Okay, so as far as like an oil to use, I like to anoint my candles. If I'm going to use an herbal blend, if I don't have an oil blend that goes with it, which you can always create, you know, take some of the herbs, or if you just want to take like patchouli oil instead of using the actual dry patchouli, that would be okay too. So like patchouli and olive oil. Since I already have patchouli in this herbal blend, I'm just going to use olive oil. Just a little, not a whole bunch, just sort of rub it lightly onto the candle, and then I will roll the candle, or honestly what I usually do is put my herbs in another container and just sprinkle the herbs across the candle, and that way whatever doesn't stick to the candle, because I don't like having my candle just coated in herbs real thick. That's how we start fires. I speak from experience. Anyway, I don't like having the candle just coated in herbs real thick. So I'll sprinkle it on the candle. Whatever's left or doesn't stick will go back to, you know, join the rest of the herbs. And then I will sprinkle the herbs themselves around the candle. Like if I was banishing a person, a picture of the person is really handy to have, and y'all, it's so easy to get pictures of people anymore. You know, screenshot their Instagram pictures, whatever, print it out. Go to Facebook, copy, you know, their profile picture or whatever, print it out. So it's really simple to get pictures of people. And anyway, I would set the picture of the person. I would actually probably take the picture of the person, fold it away from me 3 times, you know, fold it away from me once, turn it, fold it away from me again, turn it, fold it away from me again. And then I would possibly create a sigil of banishment to put on top of that paper that has their photo. And then set the candle on top after it's been anointed with herbs. Sprinkle the herbs around. Actually, you sprinkle them this way because you want to go counterclockwise. Sprinkle the herbs around and light the candle. That would be my spell. So, and whenever I am anointing a candle with oil, and it's for banishment reasons, I anoint away from myself. I write away, bottom to top, bottom to top, bottom to top. I want all that crap away from me. You know, so it's all about getting rid of. So that is how I would perform a banishing spell. You can utilize crystals. You can, black obsidian is really great, you know, cutting away things, cutting people away, cutting cords. You can use tarot cards to place around the candle spell while it's going. 8 of Cups is a really good one to use. You know, because you're walking away from what's no longer serving you. You want them to walk away. However you want to interpret that. 8 of Cups is a great tarot card to use. To set up near the working. Sort of charge it with that energy. So if you don't have chime, now I love chime candles because they burn really quickly. To me, they work really fast too. The faster it burns, the faster it works. Okay, because you know you are using that fire energy. That's why, you know, people use candle spells, because fire burns fast. You can also use these little votive. Y'all haven't opened this. I'm not going to. It'll take me forever. But you can see. Little package. I got these at Walmart. $1.74. Y'all, I have a whole drawer full of these things. I bought every damn one Walmart had. So you can't find black and scented candles that cheap any other time but at Halloween. So I also have a whole bunch of tea lights. So black votives work. To me, it's a little slower to burn, but that's fine. You know, and I also, whenever I'm doing any kind of banishing work, I don't just do it for one day. At least for me, I do it for at least 3 days, sometimes 7 if it's a really big thing. Like if you're trying to banish like someone who's really connected to you, like by blood. Sometimes it's very hard to banish relatives. Not to say there's not a reason to sometimes, but that blood tie really can make it challenging. So, and that I would even go as long as 9 days. A really bad habit that you've had for a really long time, 9 days. So, if it's a person, 3 days, at the most 7 usually, at the most a week. Now, you obviously is way more ideal to do this during the waning moon. So, start on on the full moon. The day of the full moon, and however many days while the moon is waning is ideal. Sometimes we cannot wait for that. So then you just do it regardless. But yeah, it is helpful if you can wait until the full moon to start it and then continue it, or right after the full moon, the day after. Start it and continue it through the waning moon. Tuesdays are a good day. Start a banishing spell for success. You know, successive banishment. Aries, he's pretty helpful on with things like that. I think Wednesday is Hermes, right? And Hermes Messenger. You can do a lot of. You can do banishing spells on Wednesdays too. I mean, you can do them any day of the week, but Tuesdays, Wednesdays are pretty good days. Starting kind of banishing spell, especially if it's a banishment to protect yourself or protect the people you love. Tuesdays are perfect. That's all I can really think of to tell y'all. I feel like this video is really short. So yes, that is, and y'all, I don't know, I probably showed you already, but that is kind of the mixed, and that's half-ass mixed, y'all. I'll mix it better later. Like I said, I don't really have any banishing work to do right now. I might just send this to a friend who I know is going to be doing some banishing work. So yeah, that is a banishing spell. It's super simple, y'all. It's really easy. Again, like I said, I would do it for at the very least 3 days, so you'd need 3 candles. These suckers burn fast. If you want it to burn a little slower and last all day long, so you know, if you're one of those that feels like slow and steady wins the race, I'm kind of that way sometimes. It just depends. These little black votive candles work really well, one for each day. Just remember to start it early. Don't wait until that evening. Or if you're like me and uber paranoid, you'll be up half the night waiting for that candle to burn and burn out, so you know you didn't catch anything on fire. So yeah, that is what I do. Make sure if you're banishing a person, you know, you have their name, and it's always good, like I said, picture, or if you can get something of theirs. You know, if you work with them and they eat lunch in the cafeteria or the break room, and you can swipe their napkin that you know that they've used, that's wonderful. You know, if you have access to their home, if it's a whole frenemy kind of thing, and you can get hair from their hairbrush, that's awesome too. So things like that. Y'all be creative. You know how to be sneaky. But pictures work just as well. But yeah, and if it's a habit, a representation of that habit, let's say you have, like I used the example before of spending money, and you have problems with spending money, take an old expired credit card, or if you decided that you don't want to use that credit card anymore, that you're just going to pay it off and you were going to chop it up or whatever, you can take pieces of that credit card, go ahead and cut it up and add it to the herbal blend. Or you know, if you're going to use it as a mojo bag, stick it in that mojo bag. So, or if you don't want to chop it up, but you're not going to use it, you can stick it under your candle. Banishing debt. That's a really good one to use this kind of spell for, to help you banish your debt. So get those bills. You know, those bills that are piling up, that, you know, the student loans and the credit card bills and things like that, after you've, you know, sent off whatever you need to send off to pay it or what have you, take your copy part of the bill and put it underneath the candle, or chop them up, shred them up into little bits and stick them in the mojo bag. So that is a really fun thing to do, and it really does help, you know. So yeah, y'all, that's banishing. I hope you enjoyed it. I will make sure and write out the recipe for the herbal blend in the description below, so you can check that out and you know, copy and paste or whatever you can use. Feel free to use this. It's a really simple spell. And if you have any questions, please ask in the comment section below. If you have any comments, any tips that you want to share for myself or others to use when it comes to banishing, if you have any experiences that you like to share, like, oh, that's a great spell, but I tried this and this worked really good, I love to hear it. So make sure you share in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Bye.